The research project is really focusing on trying to identify which livelihoods within the province of Nusa Tenggara Barat are likely to be most vulnerable to change in the future, including climate change, but also population growth, issues such as economic development and potential disasters. There's a great deal of variation in local climate and also a lot of cultural variation, and consequently there's a huge diversity of livelihood systems through the islands. And trying to get some sort of characterization of those livelihood systems and their relative vulnerabilities to climate and other change was our first step. So we try and tackle these issues at different scales, with the provincial government scale, and then down to the sub-district scale, and then also at the village scale. And so we conduct workshops with stakeholders at those different levels, and then we bring them all together, having completed those first sets of workshops, to contrast and integrate their ideas and also the solutions and strategies that they regard as being the most important and feasible for adaptation to the future.
Yeah, actually I have learned a lot. But one thing that I have learned that you can find something new, unexpected, from by being in the community and learn it directly from the community.
The most exciting thing is, I think, for me to work with a lot of people, gathering information with a lot of discipline, see the problem from several perspectives. That is very interesting and really enrich.
Oke, terima kasih. Silakan berikutnya.
So, out of the first workshop that we held at the provincial scale, we identified a series of, well, first of all, livelihood systems that we thought were particularly vulnerable around the province, and then we identified research priorities for developing adaptation strategies in those particular areas. And because of the diversity of livelihood systems and climatic conditions, those innovations and strategies that we've been researching are completely different from one place to another. We identified 12 projects that we could do at a local level. They were really targeted at the most vulnerable livelihood systems. New methods of growing seaweed to enable producers to be more flexible to severe climate events like storms, which tend to wash away the seaweed production. In another area of North Lombok, where it's very dry and due to get much drier, we've been looking at alternative food crops in the shape of cassava that could potentially replace rice, because we think that rice may become less and less viable in that area. Also, they already have an existing issue with a very narrow subsistence food base, so we're trying to diversify that food base so that they'll be more resilient to potential future changes. And another project which has been very influential is looking at how do we better transfer very technical information on climate conditions and climate projections to farmers at a local level in a way that they can understand and then apply through the decisions that they make in crops that they plant and production systems that they begin to invest in.
So I would like maybe we could have the implementation of some district scenario that we have, and we apply it, test it into the community with a multidisciplinary approach, and then we could have a better scenario that in order to help the community in adapt with the climate change.
We should try to do scenario, yeah, not to be pessimistic with what happened with the global change, but we have to do invention in order to be sustained, yeah, to be sustained in whatever change. Need to develop how to adapt to the change of the world.